Well, gentlemen, welcome to my humble teepee. Got two this time, George. I'm improving. Ah, I see you're looking at my Picasso. It's nice, isn't it? Yeah. How do you feel about Matisse? I picked these up about a year ago, and I can't bear to be parted from them. How do you like it? Hmm?
Excellent.
Yes, I don't think you two are really interested in pictures. Well, my motto is, wars may come and wars may go, but art goes on forever. Ah, you like reading, don't you? Have you seen Hemingway's latest? Here, I'm going to show you one of my pets. There, Thomas Mann, The Magic Mountain. This is the German edition. This is wonderful stuff. Sein Alter wäre schwer zu schätzen gewesen. So, by the way, do you speak German? Have you read this book?
Thomas Mann is very good, I believe.
I'm so sorry. Of course you want a bath after your long climb. I'm afraid I can only offer you a shower. Come on, I'll show you the way.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Scott. Philip Armstrong Scott. Come on. Yes, I've discovered some rather amusing things during my researches. Blackfoot tribal customs, for instance, closely resemble those of a certain modern European tribe. I'm going to read you something about that. Where are we? From the earliest age, their small boys were trained in the arts of war, which they considered to be the only pursuit worthy of a man. But they preferred to attack by night rather than by day, and wherever possible to shoot the enemy in the back. Their smaller neighbors lived in constant danger from them. They also believed in first terrorizing their opponent by covering themselves in war paint and beating loudly on their tribal drums. Well, doesn't that sound familiar to you?
Familiar? I don't quite understand.
Well, what price Goebbels, eh?
Very similar.
Yeah, you see, don't you? And listen to this. This is wonderful. Come here, sit down. Oh, yes. When a tribal leader really desired to drive a point home, he used that most terrible of all public speakers' weapons, repetition. Constant and unutterably wearisome repetition. Old man Hitler himself. What's wrong?
I think he found it a little warm in here.
I'm so sorry. Well, rather stuffy in there, eh?
A little.
Lovely night, isn't it? Moon's just out.
We're not the only ones up, I see.
The men, eh?
When did they go to bed?
Oh, pretty early, as a rule. They please themselves. You must be rather tired yourself. How about a nightcap before you turn in?
Thank you.
Yeah. Ah. Interested? Have a drink. Well, happy dreams.
Okay.
Ah, I thought you'd find it a bit chilly. We're 6,000 feet up here, you know.
So you think you'll escape the war, Mr. Scott?
Hmm? That's not a very nice way of putting it.
But you'll do your best to escape it.
Do you mean I wonder if I am. I don't think I'm a coward. I've never really been in any great danger. I don't exactly know how I'd behave.
I can imagine how you behave.
I beg your pardon?
I said I can imagine how you behave.
Well, you are an extraordinary fellow. You're certainly frank. So you despise my mode of life, eh? Well, I'm getting some revelations tonight. Maybe it'll do me good. Maybe I'm becoming a little smug. I imagined you'd been thinking, here's a nice, decent sort of chap. Invites me to dinner when he doesn't even know me. Amiable. Full of interesting conversation. And instead of that, you think I'm... Well, go on. What do you think I am? This ought to be enlightening.
If you were a real man, you'd have struck me across the face when I suggested you were a coward. Instead of which, you talk about it.
Well, why not? I may write about the customs of Red Indians 200 years ago, but I don't have to behave like one. After all, we've been given reasoning powers and the gift of speech. Why don't we use them instead of hitting each other? Come on, have a cigarette.
I don't think you're even a coward. I don't think you're a man at all.
You must have had too much to drink. You both better get to bed.
Is this gun loaded?
Was this loaded?
Then put your hands up.
What do you mean?
It's quite plain. Put them up.
Well, 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 this is a new experience. So I've been entertaining gangsters. Well, what do you want? Money or what?
You don't believe it, shoot you, do you? Such a thing couldn't happen to Mr. Philip Armstrong Scott. Anything unpleasant must be kept as far away as possible. As far as the war, 5,000 miles away. Suppose I were to tell you that the war is right here in this tent. I don't suppose you've heard of the U-boat that was sunk in Hudson Bay and the 6 Germans who escaped.
So that's who you are. Nazis. Well, that explains everything. Your arrogance, your stupidity, your bad manners.
Get over there by your books!
Oh, dear, do I have to be tied up?
Excuse us, Mr. Scott. We still employ savage tribal methods. They get results.
The best thing that's happened to us is meeting you. You put the heart back into us. There are only 2 of us now. 2 out of 6 brave men. But there are millions like us in Germany. Any more of your sort here, you don't stand a chance of winning this war. We'll see to that. Get them clothes out of there.
Well, they won't suit you. Not much there, I'm afraid.
$33.
Do I get a receipt?
There's only one suit here. You better have the overcoat.
Interesting. So far, I don't feel the least afraid. No sign of trembling. Pulse appears to be quite steady. Mouth a bit dry, perhaps.
Here. Rifles.
Ah, you feel happier now, don't you? Look out!
Wars may come and wars may go, but art goes on forever, eh?
Stop! Thomas Mann. Yes, I have read this book. We kicked this swine out of the Reich years ago.
There's something else, too. Blackfoot tribal customs. Think yourself lucky we don't burn you, too.
Well, I never would have believed that grown-up men could behave like spiteful little schoolboys. Have I said something to annoy you? Then I forget anything reasonable annoys you.
Open your mouth.
One question, please. When Hitler's making a speech, just exactly what are your...
Damn them horses. Stampeded again. Maybe they got wind or something.
Maybe bear.
Oh, there they go.
Where is he, George?
In the cave.
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's get him.
Which one of them two is it, boss?
I don't know. Did you see George?
Scott!
All right, boss.
I forgot to tell you, Art. He's got my coat, too.
See that hole? That's going to cost him $7 before I let the Mounties get him.
That means he's got 4 shots left. All right, Bob, I'll take over now.
Okay, boss, but I don't think you ought to
let me
take
stay
any...
with you, Mr. Scott. The papers say these men are killers.
Yes, the Canadian papers. The Nazi papers call them heroes. 2 brave Nazis against 11 million Canadians.
Say, Mr. Scott. Mr. Scott! Stop him!
1. 2. 3. 4. That's the lot. Oh, it's you. I hoped it was the other fellow.
That's for Thomas Mann. That's for Matisse. That's for Picasso. And that's for me.
All right, you can fetch him out now.
You all right, boss?
Well, you can't expect me to capture an armed Nazi without getting hurt a little. Yet.
Yeah, let me have a look at that.
The boss has knocked him cold.
Well, he had a fair chance. 1 armed Superman against 1 unarmed, decadent Democrat. I wonder how Dr. Goebbels will explain that.
Lieutenant Hirt, wherever you may be on the North American continent, I hail you as the paladin of the Third Reich and the upholder of the honor of the great German people. By express order of the Führer himself, you have today been invested with the Iron Cross, First Class. Heil Hitler.
Flash, Lethbridge, Alberta. Mounted police pick up trail of escaping Nazi. At Lethbridge Airport's Kenyon Field, it's been established that a man resembling the wanted man, Lieutenant Hirth, planed in yesterday on trip 22 from Edmonton and Calgary.
The hearts of all sympathizers with the German cause go out to Lieutenant Hirt, 1 man against 11 million. They know that even now the odds are not too heavy when the 1 man represents the might of the Third Reich and the 11 million a collapsing democracy.
48 hours have elapsed, and still Lieutenant Ernst Hirt, the only surviving Nazi from the U-37, is at large. The whole world's eyes are on southern Ontario. The question of the hour is, where is Hirt?